Hey, what's up everybody? Happy Monday. Just getting out of work and it's a little bit chilly out. Cooler out than I thought it was going to be. But the sky, even though it's overcast, has a little interest to it. I know there's a chance for thunderstorms today, and it kind of shows in the sky. You know, we've got some pretty gray, very well structured clouds. So I'm definitely going to shoot some landscapes today. I have to listen to the notifications come in. Maybe it's done. So yeah, carry bag. What I'm gonna get interrupted, I think, a lot. So what am I carrying today? Carrying the Pen F. I think I'm carrying the Pen F. Oh wait, no I'm not. Sorry. I have the EM10 Mark II. I have the 75 to 300. I have the 14 to 42 Easy, and I have the 8mm fisheye. It's quite an assortment there, and basically the thought behind that is I'm covering as much focal length as I possibly can and keeping it as small as I possibly can as well. For some reason I cannot find my 9mm body cap lens, the fisheye body cap lens. I remember handing it to somebody to check out, and I don't remember who I handed it to. So if you're somebody I know and you're watching this and you remember me loaning it to you, let me know. For some reason I just can't seem to remember who's got it. Yeah, so like I said, I've got a pretty lightweight package carrying it around today. It's in the Think Tank Photo Turnstile shoulder bag. Keeping it small, keeping it as broad as possible. But I have a feeling, like I said, that the only thing I'm going to end up shooting is a landscape with this ominous sky. I'm going to shut off the camera, get to driving, catch up on the day's news on the radio, and I'll turn it back on when I decide to shoot. See ya. Alright, so this is what it means to be a commuter shooter. I've got about 5 minutes to spare here on my way to pick up my kids from school. So I'm stopped on the side of the road, as you can hear. Got the hazards on, of course, to let everybody know that there's a crazy photographer stopped. Just shooting this pastoral land out here. One of my favorite spots to stop and shoot on my commute home. I've shot here half a dozen times. Especially love it on days like today when the clouds offer something of interest. Got the 8mm fisheye on, and I'm bracketed, and I'm going to be shooting 3 exposures at 2 exposure value differential each to generate an HDR, or I might use the middle exposure, the neutral exposure, and just work with just that one. Depends on how it looks when I get done. So I'm going to start off with just a landscape orientation shot. I'm keeping the horizon centered in this to negate some of the distortion from the fisheye. Handheld shooting HDR again. You can probably hear the radio in the car. I apologize for that noise. Do a portrait orientation shot here. You have to change my aperture. I was wide open at f1.8, but it's giving me too fast of a shutter speed, so I'm going to drop it down to 5.6, give me a little more depth as well. So 2 shots. The next one is going to be a bracketed panorama. So I'm going to start off on the left and work my way to the right. So that'll be a panorama shot that's going to be 3 HDR images stitched together. Okay, actually just 2 shots. I forget the width of this fisheye. It's like a 180-degree field of view about, so 2 shots gave me plenty of width. I think I'll do a portrait orientation one next. This one I'll be able to do 3 images to create it. Alright, there's all my shots right there. So in total, I didn't even count how many that was because they're all bracketed. But I can tell you that I'll have probably 3 finished images out of this. See if I can get back in the car without getting hit. See the cows out there in the distance on that hilltop right there. When I get a 300, I've got a shot in mind for those cows. That'll look really cool, but I'm gonna need the focal length.
80% of Black and Hispanic 29.
All right, it's back in the car. Turn the radio down here. So I'm gonna hit the road here, go pick up the kids. That's probably it for today's vlog post. I'll share the finished images with you guys, of course. And thanks for coming along on my commute home. Hey, what's up, you guys? I am back home and decided to do something a little bit different today and just do like a quick, I don't even know, like a lightning round kind of processing deal. Like I'm just going to just speed right through it. Not going to get super detailed on what I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of give you an inside look at how I create some of the images that I do. If you recall, I shot that landscape on the drive home. If you don't recall, just rewind this video like 15 or 20 seconds, and you'll see the shots that I took. Got the memory card right here, pulled it out of the EM10 Mark II, which I have sitting over here. And let's get started here. So I'm going to pop this memory card, SD card, into my reader, and just like magic, there we go. 2 Finder windows appear. I've done a little bit of a discussion on this in the past, how I do that. It's an application called Fiwi, and Fiwi just basically allows you to set an action for when you like insert an SD card, for example. I have it set up so that it gives me 2 Finder windows side by side on my main display, sized just right to fit the screen. So here on the left is my SD card with the shots that I took today. Here on the right is my I call it All Photos 16, so it's basically everything I shoot for this year in 2016, broken down by folders with dates. I'm going to create a new folder today, and we'll just call it Drive Home. And what's the date today, everybody? It is 5.2.16. There we go. So now I'm just going to drag these images over here, transfer them over. This is my workflow. I don't know, for a lot of people it's probably not the most efficient, but it's just something that I've been doing for a while, so this is just kind of how I handle it. Yeah, I don't know. I could do the import in Lightroom, I suppose, but I don't because there are several reasons, one of which, though, was one of the more recent updates to Lightroom for a while there when Lightroom became Lightroom CC. There were issues with the import dialog hanging up on Macs, and I was one of those people that ran into that, so I said, screw it, I'm just going to stick with doing it the way I do it. So images are transferred over to external hard drive. Those will get backed up later on tonight using Carbon Copy Cloner as part of my backup routine, and also to Amazon, Amazon Prime, like my Prime storage or what have you. So here's the card. It's not going to go back in the camera. It's going to sit up here. I had already put a different card in the camera. Just, again, one of those things that I do so that if something crashes in here tonight, I've still at least got today's shots right there. All right, so got the images transferred over. Told you I was going to go fast. I'm just talking a million miles a minute. Haven't even had any caffeine, but hey, you know. Somebody's notifying me of something. It's my wife, I bet. No. There we go. Lots of family in hospitals today. All right, so here we are. we're in the library module. I want to import those photos. I am not going to take the time to keyword them today just because I'm lazy. Let's see. Drive home. Jeez, Jamie. I'm like, it's been a long day. So let's import those photos. Here they are. Now, if you remember when I was running my mouth on the side of the road, I said I was bracketing shots, and you can see here they go from like a normal exposure to a really dark to a light. Those are bracketed shots, folks. What I want to do is I want to take these last 9 shots and create 3, I'm going to call them HDR, I guess, I don't know, tone mapped images, and then create a panorama from those 3 portrait orientation images. So this is how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to select the first 3, which are my first image, and file, export with preset, HDR Effects Pro 2. HDR Effects Pro 2 is going to open here in a second. And there's already a preset called, let me create HDR. On the left here in your preset library for developing, you'll see there's one right here at the top called Vert Pano right here. That is a preset that I already created because I've already recorded the screen flow once, and I had an issue with stitching the pano in Photoshop and said, screw it, I quit. And then I said, all right, I'm going to figure this out. So I figured it out, and I'm here re-recording again. So anyways, this is a preset that that I created specifically for the scene. It gave me the exposure and color and everything that I wanted, and I'll still do a little more tweaking in Lightroom in a minute. So here, we'll just save this one out. And that one's saved. Now, you don't see it here in my Lightroom library anywhere. That's a little thing that I deal with, and I'll show you my workaround for that in a minute. So we'll do the next set of 3. Export with preset, HDR Effects Pro 2. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I think my next computer is going to be a Mac Pro. I love this iMac. It's super fast, but I have a feeling that a Mac Pro with a little bit more RAM than what I've got would be better. There we go. Select that Vert Pano. Save it out. And I suppose it probably doesn't help that I'm running a ScreenFlow video right now recording all this either. But hey, what are you going to do? So we'll get this last one processed, and then I've got to get them to show up here in Lightroom. And I'll show you the fix for that for me. Come on. Last one. Yeah, I've got my window open in here, and there's a lot of traffic today, so pardon the background noise. There. Now, you don't see the HDR images that I generated anywhere in my library here. My fix for that is to literally just click outside of that folder and then re-click in it again, and now you'll see there they are. I don't know. Is it Nick's fault? Is it Adobe's fault? I have no idea. So now, photo, edit in, merge to panorama in Photoshop. I had a decent amount of difficulty getting this to work earlier, and I found one way that seemed to make it work. And before I go further with this, let me just say that I've run into this issue several times in the past, and today I just, for whatever reason, this one little thing that I did seemed to work. But I noticed the issue I've had, like every time I have this issue, it's always when I'm shooting, trying to do a panel with the 7-14 or with the 8mm fisheye. And I think it has something to do with the geometric distortion. I see a little box right there I can tick. I'm thinking it might have something to do with that, and for some reason Photoshop just has an issue aligning them. I'm not sure, but I noticed today, earlier, when I ticked this box and hit OK, it actually merged them and it worked. Now, I probably won't do it just because I'm running ScreenFlow. It's going to be a jerk and make me look like a fool, but Seems to be working so far. Yeah. So we'll let this merge. This takes a second because these are large file sizes. Moderately. Come on. Come on, Bessie. You can do it. There we go. Funky looking, right? I know. It's like I got a lot of empty space. I could have used content aware fill to fill in those spaces, but I'm not going to do that. So instead I'm using the crop tool, and I'm just going to crop in to where I've got no empty space. I don't know, I'm kind of being a little funky here with it. Actually, we can go up just a bit. Might as well keep as much as we can, right? Boom, there you go. That's going to be a big file. So we will save that back into Lightroom. It's taking a second to save too. Look at that. It's creeping along. That's a big mamba jamba file. Come on. Holy cow. It's like molasses. Come on. There we go. Let's close Photoshop because we don't need you no more. Boom. There it is. Holy snot buckets. That's big. That's really big. Let's develop it. What do you say, folks? Ooh, doggy. I like that. First things first. What do I want to do? I'm a big fan of this dehaze slider. I use dehaze on everything. If I could put it on popcorn, it'd be all over it. So I'm just going to crank this slider just a little bit. And you'll see it gives us a little bit of definition in the clouds. And that's kind of the only reason that I'm doing that. Our sharpening is set at 0. You can't be a hero if you're a 0. We're going to sharpen it just a little bit. Normally I save sharpening for the end. But I'm just being totally foolish right now. Let's turn the luminance for green down a little bit and darken these greens up just a bit. Luscious. And maybe not that dark. There we go. I like that. I think that's about it. I think I kind of like where we're at. Let's export this bad boy out. I don't use a lot of shortcut keys, obviously. So we'll call this Big Skies. I think I've probably used that name before. Let's see what happens. Ooh, I haven't used that yet. Works for me. So, there we go. Let's quit. I'm going to skip my backup right now because. So there it is, you guys. Just a really quick run through. Sometimes, if you saw where I changed the luminance channel for green, that's kind of one of my little things that I like to do in a lot of images. Like the image that you see from my desktop background here. There was work obviously done in the green and in the oranges and in the reds. So, yeah, anyways. I'm cutting out of here. I'm getting a little loopy. Yeah. You guys take care. Thanks for watching. I know a little crazy today, but hey, what are you going to do, right? See you tomorrow.